Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today's video is all about vlogging because, as many of you know, I've already done a comparison of the A6400 and the RX100 Mark VI. Very different cameras, one being an interchangeable lens APS-C camera on the left, and then the RX100 being a pocketable point-and-shoot with a really dynamic range and great Zeiss lens paired with a 1-inch sensor. Both of them have something, though, that makes them unique, and especially with regard to Sony, which is their flip-around displays. And while this is a great thing to have, the question is this new A6400 a vlogger's dream come true? And I've already talked about this. I personally don't see it as such in any way, shape, or form. I think it's more of the evolution of Sony's DI department recognizing that you do or you will gain more customers, you're leaving money on the table by not making a screen that comes all the way around. But the reason this short video is being uploaded today, even though I've kind of beat this comparison to death, is simply because I cannot understand the argument for wanting a camera like this to vlog as opposed to a camera like this. They're very close in price, $899 body alone. If you were to pair the 10 to 14 wide angle with this, you're looking at a lot more cash than you would be spending on the RX100, and that goes all the way back to the Gen 4. Yes, you do have video recording limitations on here, which I discussed, but the autofocus, all the things you gain in here that make the A6400 unique are not things that are unique for vloggers. They are unique for regular photography, videography. In my opinion, if you're a vlogger, the RX100, even though it has a 5-minute 4K cap, and it does have overheating issues, the RX100 is the compact, go-everywhere camera that a vlogger ideally would want to have. And then I cannot tell you how many vloggers I've seen who now are praising this camera and saying, it's my new go-to vlog camera. A year ago, we're saying, who needs 4K? Well, if you don't need 4K, then you'll have no problem shooting in 1080p and vlogging on this to your heart's content. Yes, you will still have the 29 minutes, 59 second cap on video because this predates the change in the tax law, but I would assure you, not completely 100, but pretty close, that cap limitation will come off if they figure out a way to deal with thermals on the 4K side. But again, with 1080p, you're not going to run into that problem. So while this has a better autofocus system, by the way, very similar phase detection autofocus systems, just not as many points on this camera, no real-time tracking, and of course, no ability to change lenses, for the average vlogger who just wants to create content on YouTube or any other platform, I have to imagine the more portable, less bulky, less overall expensive option is going to suit them better. Also, if they're vlogging long-term, I will defer back to the fact that, look, if you need 4K, then get something that can shoot 4K like this or a Panasonic. There are lots of Sony cameras that can do that, not without the time limitation. But if 4K is not that important to you, which again, I cannot stress enough how many vloggers are like, I really don't care if I have 4K. I mean, you've got people praising 4K now that, as I said earlier, a year ago, were saying 4K is irrelevant. Well, it's relevant. I've been shooting in 4K since 2012, somewhere around there, and I've never looked back. And soon we'll have 8K. We're not there. Probably, closer to 6K first. But either way, the point is, to me, if this is about vlogging, portability and ease of use lives in the RX100 brand, and that's what vloggers need. They don't need to see how big a gear kit can getting a cage. And let's say, this isn't enough for you. You're still going to need an external monitor. You're still going to, and those are cheap, by the way. Less than $200 US gets you an external monitor. I'll be reviewing one soon. China cranks them out, and they're IPS displays. They're 1080p. So again, from a vlogging standpoint, I just don't even understand how people are making the argument that the color science combined with the autofocus, combined with the flip around screen, the improved viewfinder, this is nonsense. If it's all about vlogging, the only thing that I can see as an argument is the video cap limitation being removed. You still have that here, but again, go to 1080p and you're fine. And most vloggers don't care whether or not they're in 4K. And if that is changing, then I'm happy to hear that because it's about damn time. But that's pretty much it. I already compared these cameras, but from a vlogging standpoint, again, I am just boggled by the fact that somehow people think they need a larger camera, lenses, when They're a static image sitting in front of a camera. Think about that for a moment. The RX100 can handle all of that crap. You do not need something like this. So while I think the A6400 is a best-in-class DI product, it's not the best in class necessarily for vloggers. Just because it has a flip-around screen doesn't make it a vlogging machine. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.